just checking the sound. I hate to make one of these and then I just been checking it just to make sure. Just make one of these and talk for 30 minutes. You can't hear anything. All right, so this is more about. I had a download about Disney. So I figured I'd go into some of that. I didn't put it in the title though, because I don't want to deal with that. Just the manipulations involved with it. I just got like a Archon, just obviously it's there to destroy the family. That's why they have like no parent, like one parent or no parent, or it's actually there to manifest that in some cases. Of course, not everyone's supposed to have a parent here, but it is supposed to weaponize the family. I give an example of. Yeah, it's like sublime messages. Something like that. It's symbolic. It's not well. It's in your face, but it's not. Obviously, you can feel it, but it's not. Yeah. Anyway, the other thing, what we're dealing with in our, as I mentioned, try not to beat it to death, because we have like Pied Pipers now. Like you have like I mentioned in the past, like Scientology in the past, because we didn't have the internet. People was like, "Oh, you guys are down to earth. You're just like us." Yada yada yada. And obviously now, yeah, this is like 20 years later, 30 years later, 40 years later. But starting in the 50s. So, but even now, like yes, spiritual groups that are here now that are popular, that are very similar to that. I've already mentioned it. I'm not going to go into it again, but yeah, there's nothing like your everyday spiritual Peter Pan, or what was the other word anyway. Just people can't get past that. They look like your average person, cool guy, or looks like he's from a rock band or something like that, but he's a spiritualist, has a podcast, and it's all disinformation. Might be some good information there here and there, but a lot of us disinformation. It pays well for them. And maybe 10 years from now, people might realize what that is, what's going on there. 10 years maybe, if you're lucky. The Late Show, the Colbert and all that, finally, it's been around, how long has that been around? 10, 20 years? 15 years, something like that. Finally, these late shows are dying. Finally. So imagine the spiritual podcast. Eventually, people will start waking up one day. No, they're at their peak. This is the golden age of manipulation, and people are just not there yet. So it's like preachers to the choir. My channel gets more suppressed by the day, and theirs just keeps on growing. And living the rock star life. So people are just not seeing it. One day, well, I guess there has to be a revolt against it at some point. People, just find those different awakenings. Obviously, the manipulation in the spiritual community has not been awake, is it? Yeah, people can't get past this whole, the Pied Piper. They can't get past the everyday man. Manipulator. They can't see through it. Once they say, "Oh, you're just like me. You get high like me. You do the same music, whatever. You're just like me." It's like, no, they're not like you. You just got fucked over. The spiritual comment that's out there, they can't see past it. So that's been going on for thousands of years, but we're seeing it on the internet a lot, and people are just aren't seeing it. So yeah, about 10 years, I guess. Maybe it doesn't matter. I'm just putting it out there, but that's not what this is. But the going to Disney, it's all spell energies. Obviously, talk about the witch. Even like the was it the Black Cauldron? I don't know. I don't know anything about that. That's like part of the controllers. I don't know what the bad guy is in that. I just know I think the Rescuers Down Under has some messed up stuff in there too. Ursula from Little Mermaid. I didn't grow up on Disney. I mean, I knew of it, but I never grew up on it. But I know who has been. And I can give you examples. It's fucked up. Yeah, Ursula from Little Mermaid, the bad guy there, she's writing contracts. Yeah. I mean, what do they show writing a contract with Little Mermaid? You want whatever. So they're showing you how they do it astrally. Oh, you want this? You want to sell yourself out? And yeah, maybe in the Little Mermaid she redeemed herself. Tell that to Britney Spears. I'm not sure she ever redeemed herself. So stuff like that. I'm just going by memory. I'm too tired to bring anything up. I don't think I want to put pictures of that crap up there. Come to think of it, I just had some reason I just got a. I don't know why. I'm not. Disney's not on my mind like ever. But it is a main manipulator here because I grew up with like my best friend or something like that was actually I think sent here to try to shut me down even as a kid to like attack. I've been attacked since I was a kid. That's like a lot of people here have been. They send you like a not. He doesn't look like me. It's almost like a doppelganger. Like a clone of you almost. Something like it, not exactly. But his mother was raised. See, his dad. He has a brother from another father. His mother was raised on Disney movies. And she's a total wreck. Smokes cigarettes. It's all just. I think she had she had a kid through a neighbor, another kid. That when I was growing up, she was a little bit younger. And then she had another kid through another neighbor. Yeah, this wasn't the. Funny, I'm thinking about this now. But and she grew up on Disney. Is what I'm getting at. Yeah, it shows. So every kid she's had has had a different dad. And yeah, she's a chain smoker. I think she found Jesus later, from my mom said. She doesn't. But anyway, yeah. So one of her kids I was raised with, and we were exact opposites. I'm not going into all the details, but yeah, he kept punching everything and stuff like that. It was fucked up. So yeah, so Disney can also be part of a broken home, or it can bring out the Disney princess, which is also part of the broken homes program, the female, to weaponize her. And if I remember right, I'm trying to go back from memory, Cinderella is an obvious one. Now, not necessarily. Now, I know I like to say this: the stepsisters are the bad people, but not always the case. Meaning, maybe in their version, but sometimes they're just everyday life, and maybe they may have little Miss Goody Two Shoes that's there, and maybe they know about her better than they should know. So I'm just getting a version of it. Because then she becomes this pretty princess, and they don't show the whole rest of it, but she becomes a nightmare to whoever she marries and tears him apart and so on. And it becomes an empty vessel. Well, there is that version out there somewhere. I guess you can't sell those on ticket. I guess you can. I don't know. Imagine there's a version. Maybe Woody Allen made something like that somewhere. Also, the other thing was, of course, that's obviously not the point. Like, yeah, they tell you one story, but there's another story there. The other one was Sleeping Beauty. I think that one's like symbolic also of putting the female to sleep. And, and I forgot the toxic mother. I think that was well, I don't think it's in the movie, but I think that's the witch is actually more of the mother of the kid or something. Yeah, mother figure, something. I don't know. But either way, it's another part of like putting the Sleeping Beauty to sleep and part of the programming, you can say. I think it was a lot more to it than that, but I can't remember. Kind of going through a memory here. And also, Pinocchio is like a robot, kind of like an AI, I guess, say, becoming a boy and just becoming a destructive psychopath, sort of, well, selfish. And that's programming too. It's kind of like, I guess you can say Pinocchio is also kind of like, kind of, I get like the child before they knows who the child, without the robot side. That's part of it. I feel like there's some robotic energy there, but like the robot, the Tin Man becomes human or something like that. That's one part of it. The other part feels Pinocchio is also like the kid with the blank slate, like before he knows anything, and then becoming a boy is like adolescence, growing up, and then getting manipulated by society. I think that's also manifesting that. You can do that too. You can become a drug addict and whatever. And that's why people can also. I think it's more like assassinating society, is what I'm getting at. It's like work, because it is written by, Disney has Disney Magic and all that. And just, it's all fucked up. Go to the theme parks to get manipulated into going into wanting certain things because it is a spell. Yeah, it is archon manipulation. It's dark wizardry. I mean, very dark, like just to capture the soul. Well, the idea is to get the soul so mixed up, all the propaganda and everything. You have to be a certain way. Obviously, in the movies, they don't really show that. They don't really show you have to be materialist. I don't think it has that in it. But the human version, materialistic. You want to go to Disney and get broke going there. The Disney World or whatever. Yeah, it costs an arm and a leg to have fun, right? And then go on all the MK Ultra rides. They get programmed into basically becoming more materialistic and their version of the family. Just go in debt. The Disney family is, in our dimension, is, self-obsessed shit. It's like, it's not really, it's like a prototype, like a template of happiness, but it's not really. A lot of people go to Disney and they hate it. So because it sucks, you go sit in there in a line. Well, you're a robot society. Yeah, go stand in that line. Go sit in a line for 4 hours or whatever it is. And some people have done it. Yeah, because they go. It's like going there to be mind controlled. They willingly go there to be mind controlled. Willingly sit in the line for 5 hours, so they get a piece of that programming. Well, so they continue out to be. So that's where the robot side comes in. Like you're kind of, you are a functioning human, but you're still part of the robotic drone society, family drone energy. It just, it's kind of like vampirism. It's an archon architecture. This is the way it's supposed to be. Fucked up. And welcome to hell. So, Snow White. Shit, Snow White's almost like. Even that name's like cocaine. We'll just go with that. And of course, the witch in the Snow White. That first I think is creepy as shit, and so realistic. I mean, it's just. I mean, for a kids movie, that thing is real and evil as fuck. Even she transformed into an old lady, so it shows like transformation into a manipulator, and they don't transform into an everyday person or all that. That would make it even worse, actually. I think they have that somewhere, like they impersonate somebody else. But that one's an old lady, and even the old lady energy is used to manipulate. Or the old people. You just you try. No, you can always trust an old lady, right? Not always, right? So, and I think she had the apple. The apple is knowledge, but also can be manipulation, indoctrination into the system. So it's all just, yeah, once again programming. But the witch and freaking Snow White, 'cause that's the first Disney movie, and he spent like, you know, and even the creation of that was like a big risk, and you had to spend all, and it became a hit, but it kind of bet the farm on it because it's a manipulation programming. So yeah, it's obviously people took it in. And they don't think of anything of it. But it's kind of like, I mean, they should just burn all that shit. I mean, would just burn it all, just all of the whole archive, burn all of it. This is why I put Disney in the title. The whole archive, all of it should just be banished. If you did that, I don't think people would know what to do with themselves. Take Disney and just dump it, all of it. Just Universal's not so bad. They're bad at programming people. They suck at it. But Disney is such a. I mean, that's like Atlantean, high end. Like that's what you call the cabal and all that. Yeah, that's all wrapped into one. Yeah, all behind the scenes and they make themselves known. Masonics and double whatever, all of that. And you can see that, like I said, in the Snow White, the witch in the beginning of it, because she's realistic and creepy as fuck, talking to a damn mirror. Like, this is all the wrong. You should not. That should not. I mean, it's good to see as an adult. It gets I mean, if you understand what you're getting into, but to show it to a fucking kid is probably not a good idea. But whatever. And people have sort of survived, I guess, but not really. They can't survive the Disney princess, though. It's like, because the idea is to destroy the female, to take the female and just program it, and that's what Cinderella is there for. I think Sleeping Beauty is part of the sleep to put her under sedation, and Cinderella is the bait and switch. That's the creature they create out of it. Of course, yeah, she's a victim. She's there cleaning shit and all that. It's like, and she becomes like a Disney princess psychopath. And they do exist nowadays. Obviously, materialistic. I'm a princess. Give me what I want. Yada yada yada. And it has stopped that. Try to stop that weapon. It says it is there to destroy the female, though. It comes down to it. Destroy the family. What was it? Bambi's mother was killed. Yeah, of course they're gonna do that. And even I think Snow White didn't have a dad. I don't know the story of that. But yeah, the families are always already fucked up. There's always usually like one parent or something like that. Yeah, because they're trying to. I feel like they're trying to manifest that. Even if you do have two parents, sometimes a kid want just one, or whatever, just because that's part of the programming. It's such, and they go after the kids of all things. It's like McDonald's is the same thing. Disney is 100 times worse, though, obviously. Something like the Jungle Book seems a little bit more or less manipulation there. Oliver and Company, I don't think that's even at Disney. It's like some stupid cartoon. I'm just going by memory. Beauty and the Beast, yeah, that's just. Real life, you can say. Like, I guess, Mary the Grunt, I guess. I think I got more on that, but. Yeah, it's just the snobbish prince in the beginning, and then it becomes some ugly pile of shit, basically. Thing is, in real life, it just stays that way. Of course, a lot of them still get away with it anyway, being selfish. Just, they're kind of showing the inside of what they really look like, just like a creature. Even so, they look like real attractive, but they're still kind of monsters inside, basically. Yeah, and of course, he is the bookworm energy, the Belle. Even she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. It's like, basically just married a creature, basically. Not to say she doesn't have her own issues. So let's see. Lion King's a weird one. That's obviously the feline, and once again they break down the family. They kill the father, of course, and it's just the hippie kid. And, yeah, I think there was some more to that, but it just showed. Well, that was a big hit, and that's so kind of weird why that was ever a hit, because it's just so basic. But it shows that the feline is involved with this, obviously, in some form. They have their still have their intertwined in our reality. I think there's more to it than that. I can't remember what it was. And also the what was it? The genie and Aladdin. Of course, he's trying to bring a more positive side to it. Of course, he was putting I think he was putting like truth bombs in that. While Robin Williams is actually putting little truth things out there because he knows the corporation's a piece of shit. But I think he was like sneaking in certain things, but it's once again showing Babylonian magic that's going on. And of course, the Pocahontas just, they're out of ideas. They did have Atlantis, which wasn't very good, but it shows some Atlantean energies kind of, still around, but it's kind of like a bit of a soft disclosure, sort of. But that thing, Hercules, that was junk. Obviously, it became more creatively bankrupt, but it doesn't really matter either because they still have the control of the families, so it doesn't matter. Frozen, that's more symbolic to what we have today. There's a lot of the ice princess exists in ours, and once again, weaponizing the female and all of that, but also how many have run into someone like that? It's as cold as ice and alone. They might be in families, they might be a mother or a kid, but whatever, but also just soul as ice, no heart, and so on. Maybe, I don't know if she gets one. I don't know anything about the story on that. Captain Hook, or the Captain Hook, Peter Pan, yeah, obviously we got a lot of those here. I don't want to grow up. And the Lost Boys, which they don't go into that, but that's pretty obvious there. Or the Lost Kids, Call of Society. Yeah, they're not going to jump into. And that's funny how the Indian energy is that way. And there's Priscilla back there. What is she doing? There she is again. She didn't make an appearance after all. Of course, the energies of it. Captain Hook is more like a, yeah, you say authority figure, the corporation, and the kid, and the Peter Pan's a kid who doesn't want to grow up. Of course, the corporation has its issues, obviously, too. And also Peter Pan the manipulator, going to Wendy, and just none of that's good. Of course, delusion and all that's baked into it. There's other, the rescuers down, so I'm tapping into, I don't know anything about the rescuers down under or something. I know they put some animators put things in there they should not to go into details, they put things they should not be, adult stuff they shouldn't be, but that's for fucking kids. That tells you about the people that work there. That's just gross. That's not even funny. When you slow it down, you see an adult situation there. It just shows you just junk energy that's running this. But the whoever the villain is, the Black Cauldron, that seems to be the rescue is on and under. I think it's a dragon, or maybe whoever it is, or a rat or something like that. But it's all symbolic of the company itself, what's running it. Rats, yes. Dark entities, dark archon beings look like demonic beings. So they are showing you what they look like. Ursula is a perfect example of writing contracts. Of course, people are like, it's no big deal. It's like, what the fuck? So obviously, they have stuff in It's just talk about MK Ultra. Yeah, it's all government got involved more with Disney during the during World War II. Like slowly started to take over, and they and see because he was a Mason too, I believe, but because they needed money. So they the government so at least the Masonic energy sort of came in and started programming society, putting witchcraft and all it's in there, magicians and all that. I don't care if it's a financial success or not. I don't care about that. The idea is to manipulate society. Just like how they weaponize the food, they're weaponizing the mind. And also just materialism. The kid. Of course, they don't have like Disney people buying stuff like in the movies. They don't have them materialistic there. But the Disney fan is very materialistic, even psychotic sometimes. When they try to, like Disney puts out merchandise and they buy it, try to sell it on eBay. It's part of the programming. It's very sophisticated, actually. Kind of as well, but it's also the template. The Disney fan is like the template of manipulate. The family line. Not all of them are the same, but technically, materialism, get in debt, have this kind of like having the white picket fence, sort of like that. And it's all just mainstream programming. And try to see in society deconstruct that. Break. I mean, some are, most aren't, and they're proud to be a Disney fan. It's like being proud of a cult, basically. Has been looked down upon. I mean, it is looked down upon to some level, but not to the level where, where it's starting to, the company's not falling apart. Yeah, I have to be careful what I say with all that, because, if a property on Disney catches on fire, that's a good sign because it shows it's kind of breaking down. Um, you know, but not fully, obviously. One day people will research this stuff at some point when they're out of when they broke out of the they are researching it kind of, but they're still part of the system. The idea is to not give it any power anymore and let it die. Now there is a good side. There's not all bad. There is good there. It's just oh yeah, that's right. Marvel, or even Star Wars. Yeah, they took the life out of it. Yeah, yeah. The idea was to destroy it. And they did a pretty good job, and they're still doing it. Yeah, they're doing exactly what they're there to do. Even with the Marvel stuff, they're to destroy that too. Destroy everything. And people wonder if we're at the end of our timeline. Well, they're destroying pop culture on purpose. Yeah, maybe not consciously. But the CEO of Disney is literally there. No creative talent there whatsoever. But as a kind of like an arsonist of creativity. So yeah, you want to be creative and all that, but actually just destroying it. So yeah, it's doing exactly what it's there to do. And it's fucked up. So it is showing our timeline is dying. U.S. is dying in some regard due to all the debt. Things are winding down. It will go into some kind of new something. How, or get blown to the next world. We'll see. It's not going to be super positive. It has to go into darkness first. It can't go into light. I mean, a lot of stuff has to come out. People have to pull away from his manipulations. You think all of a sudden we're going to go to high frequency, but you haven't learned your lessons. All the manipulations are still here with the podcast shit that's out there. The spiritual community is halfway, a good portion of it's manipulated. No one even see it. What the fuck do they know? New Earth and all, it's all programming. You can't tell them that. All the SSP stuff, they're all so lost with that shit. They can't figure themselves out worth a damn. Then you think you're going to get this high frequency reality. Good luck with that. So yeah, a lot of these systems have to really break down. Like the night, Colbert is a good sign. Like mainstream media is kind of dying, sort of. Look how long that's taking. You think a lot of that stuff would be dead by now. It's still alive. So that's the timeline isn't completely dead. It's going to be a slow slow death. I mean, it is breaking down, but it's not going to be breaking down all of a sudden everything's super positive. I mean, New York Times is still alive somehow, and CNN's still here, so it's kind of like that. Everything's going to, it's a very slow demolition. You can say to the new Earth at some point, maybe not in our lifetime, because all this, like I say, all these systems have to break down. And I see some of it, but not enough. Like I said, the spiritual community is halfway hijacked, and they seem to be okay with that. So, even Scientology, if all this stuff is known about Scientology, it's all over the web. It still exists, even if they're not doing so great. It's still there. It's still hanging. So it just shows you how slow everything is. It's being realistic, I guess. Others aren't into that. They'd rather be in delusion. Delusion sells very, very well. It just shows that soul's not really progressing that much. Not really. It's still part of the delusional side, but it's mentality, the savior mentality and all. It's funny. I get backlash for those that are looking for a savior. It's like, God, you're kidding me, man. Yeah. So, but yeah, Scientology is a good example. Like I say, people know about the corruption of that, and it still exists. Same thing with the Catholic Church. So that just shows you, all these big systems. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. The new Earth is some kind of better Earth is out there at somewhere. Might be a long. That's why you just focus on yourself and not focus on that. If you focus on everyone becoming positive, hugging each other, good luck with that. Unless you have your own little niche in your own, because good luck on getting the rest of the world to be interested in that, because they're not. The Disney stuff, what else is there? I can't remember. But yeah, it's just basically just to destroy. Now, like I said, it's there to destroy, but their good can come out of this. It's not all bad. So it's not. It just has a lot of darkness there. It's like the war of light and dark. Yeah, you can say Disney has that. So sometimes Disney goes good, and sometimes they're complete evil. So it shows kind of like reality. That's one way of looking at it. Even like the news and all that, sometimes they do good, and a lot of times they mostly do bad. So it kind of gives you, that's like the light and dark stuff. Like, light is not winning here. So many people think that it is. It's not strong enough. Many that might have some positive energy, like they're looking for a positive message, but they can't heal themselves. And so I want this positive message. I want to feel better, and it's like cocaine. Positive message, like, it's good to give a positive message, but it's almost like an addiction to a delusion. But the going inward and healing this inner disaster is easier said than done. So it's either just put whipped cream on. Yeah, because a lot of them I don't feel like many are just not ready to see themselves. It's just too hurtful. Because part of it might be also this other lifetimes where they're just horrible and haven't made peace with it. Or in this life they've been terrible and don't want to own up to it, which can be very true. Maybe feel like they're doing the right thing here and they're actually horrible pieces of shit. So, well, yeah, especially those that sell themselves out. Yeah, I think those that sell themselves out, do they know that? Some do. I'll go into details of that. And don't care, I guess. They reap the rewards of it until it's kind of like a credit card. Eventually the payment comes in. Maybe they get destroyed and tossed out at some point. Well, they get exposed. When they get exposed, like, oh, well, I don't know if they're laughing all the way to the bank, probably not, because those that finally feel like they've been wronged by it, the con man, con women, or whatever, that follows them. So those that sell out, it's not, it might look like a grace period of success, but in the long run, those that they've wronged haunts them forever. I guess they just don't care, or not that they're going to go and start hugging everybody. No, I thought they're going to run away from it. So, unless they do some good, but or not. Why do that? We can get away with being a sellout. Why bother? Like some of these musicians and politicians to go out further. So they're, like politicians, like a lot of them get away with it. Of course, they might get away with it is a lot of the public and somehow survive that, but internally they gotta live with it. And they can just start eating them alive at some point, depending on what it is, or what they did, or whatever. So, anyway. Alright, we'll just leave it with that. Alright, blessings.